Now we'll introduce ourselves individually. Grant Dufferin.
Eric Nitschke.
Kevin Gonrig.
I am Jackson Payne. I run the 3GI TikTok account, and I am doing this interview. For those unfamiliar, how did Shrekfest start?
But basically, we found a Facebook event for Shrekfest, and it was something like 5 days long, and there were a bunch of sponsors and rides and things like that, and special events. We thought it sounded so incredible, and we were like, how do we not come up with this? And we quickly realized that it was just a meme, it was just a joke. Somebody made it on Facebook, but we wanted it to be real, and so we called every park in Madison, because that's where the fake event was supposed to take place, Madison, Wisconsin. And one park let us have it, and that first year probably 50 or 80 people showed up, throughout the day, and we basically gave away shirts, and we were like too afraid to sell them, and we were like, you can donate money if you want to, but if you're here you can just take a shirt. And these were shirts that we made, I guess, we spray painted the logo on them, and those weren't tie-dye that year, were they? Or were they?
They were very poorly tie-dye. Like we didn't know what we were doing.
I was gonna say, not the tie-dyes that you're familiar with for the Shrekfest merch these days. We didn't know what we were doing. We left them to dry in Grant's backyard, and slugs crawled over them. And so that first year, that's a good kind of metaphor for it. It was very, it barely happened. You know what I mean? Like it was very like a week before, or 2 weeks before that we locked in the park. Right? It was really quick.
Everything was last minute.
Yeah, because we didn't try to do it the same date, like Labor Day weekend, like we do this year, and we tried to keep it the same date that was on the fake event, because it had like 1,000 or 1,200 people attending on the Facebook event. So we were like, man, if we can do this real thing, I bet we could get some people to actually come. And they did.
And everyone who showed up, they couldn't believe it was real. Everyone thought they were going to walk up to an empty park.
Wow. Is that the whole story?
Yeah, it was a fake Facebook event that made it real.
Yeah, and every year it kind of became more of a real thing since then, more professional.
Yep, that was always the comments. The comments when we first started out was always like, is this real? I can't believe this is real. I can't tell this is real, blah, blah. We got those comments for like the first 3 years. And now we don't get those comments at all. Everyone knows it's real.
Did you ever think the Shrekfest would get this big?
No.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Like having sponsors,
I mean, it was
like that breaks my expectations of what Shrekfest could ever be. I didn't think we could ever get sponsors.
This year, Marcus Theaters, which is a movie theater chain here in Midwest, basically, but it's a pretty big chain. They showed the movie Shrek in theaters the weekend of Shrekfest, and it was like gone. The next weekend, it was only there, like in select theaters for that. And it's like they did that for Shrekfest, and a lot of restaurants and stuff and bars in Milwaukee did specials and like special ramen dishes and drink specials and stuff throughout that weekend. And it was really, that was a trip to see how like people knew about it. So, like anytime I wear my hat at work, it's easy to be like, oh, Shrekfest, my friend was there. And it's like, that's always a trip. And like as fun as the first year was, not something that we ever expected. I thought it would just continue to be a small group of really weird and passionate people every year, under 100 people about and come and get really stinky around onions, but how huge it's grown. Surprising, but also not, because it's Shrek, Everyone loves Shrek.
That's true. But I'm also, even just being in Milwaukee surprised me, because Milwaukee's a much bigger city than Madison. Madison feels more isolated and we're safer there. But coming to Milwaukee, for me personally, I just felt vulnerable. I felt like we're being exposed to a lot more people, a lot more eyes. But everyone was so welcoming. And I think we did the smart move, kind of getting this fire started in Madison and then bringing it to Milwaukee.
Totally, yeah. Madison is very much a college town, so we really relied on, I think, that younger energy. Even though like a lot of people drove from Milwaukee and from Chicago that first year, but I think there's something about Madison, like you said, it's a little smaller, a little more laid back, where we can feel like we can get our footing and kind of know what the fest was about before if we jumped into it like this big of a fest our first year, we would have gotten our asses kicked.
Yes, yes, we would have. It would have been too much right away. And that's just kind of how we always move, just baby steps. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. That's always the advice I give to people when they talk to me about any sort of projects. Just start small and nail it. And then do a little bigger next year. Always pushing yourself. But don't jump in the deep end right away. That's not what we did.
And what is it like to have this whole community come together to celebrate this character in movie and franchise?
It's awesome. It enriches my life.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. I think it does. It reminds you kind of what life is about, and as corny as it is, in the themes of the movie. And I say this a lot when I'm talking about Shrekfest, but when I think about the moral of Shrek, it's like this guy who started as a grump. He wanted to live alone. He wanted nothing to do with other people. And by the end of the movie, he's got a huge party at his house with all the weirdos that he hated at the beginning of the movie. And he's got a wife who he loves for who she is, and a friend who also annoyed him at the beginning of the movie, but he loves by the end. And it's just this, it's such a message of acceptance, and not just like pure acceptance, but accepting diversity and diversity of opinion and all the different ways that make us different. And I think that the festival reminds me of that every year. When I can get there and see all the people interacting and having a great time, it reminds me that, like, yeah, it's cool to be different.
That was beautiful, Kevin.
Oh, man. It gets me, like Grant said, you know, it enriches our life in a way that, like, people hear Shrekfest and they think it's like it's a jokey thing, and it definitely is, but there's a lot that you can say about it that is so, like, profound and positive.
Yeah, it's like
the movie.
Yeah, Shrekfest is like nothing else. It's just like nothing else. It's a really positive experience. It's a fun time. And yeah, I can only answer your questions with positive things. Like, how has Shrekfest influenced me positively? How does it influence other people positively? It's just all positive.